This second is the penitent student who fought the university board for its rights by Decatos. So the link to the video with the participant below. Go and check them out. So let's into this track in 3, 2, 1.
The dean's voice was sharp and final. You need to withdraw from the university immediately. This is inappropriate for our campus. But 20-year-old Kieran wasn't backing down. Standing in front of the board with a visible baby bump, he said 5 words that would change everything. I have the right to learn. Kieran Marsh had always kept a low profile at Westbrook State University in Ohio. A sophomore majoring in graphic design, he spent most of his time in the art studio, headphones on, working on his projects. Being a transgender man at a mid-sized state university was easier than high school had been, but Kieran still preferred to keep his personal life private. He'd transitioned 3 years ago, at 17. He'd been on testosterone for over 2 years. His voice had deepened, he had facial hair, and he worked out regularly. Most people at Westbrook State had no idea Kieran was trans. To everyone around him, Kieran was just another college student trying to survive midterms. Then November came, and everything changed. It started with nausea. Every morning for 3 weeks.
Yep, that's a baby bump. Yep, look, he's a baby bump. Yep.
Kieran would rush to the bathroom, feeling sick. His roommate thought it was food poisoning. Then came the exhaustion. Kieran, who usually pulled all-nighters in the studio, could barely stay awake during afternoon classes.
Really?
Dude, you look terrible, his friend Tobias said one day at lunch. I feel terrible, Kieran muttered. I think I caught something. Then his clothes stopped fitting. His stomach was pushing against his jeans. He switched to sweatpants and oversized hoodies, telling himself he was just bloated. But deep down, a terrifying thought was growing. His period had stopped within 6 months of starting testosterone. He hadn't had one in over a year and a half. Everyone said testosterone made pregnancy extremely unlikely. But unlikely wasn't impossible. Kieran bought a pregnancy test at a pharmacy 3 towns over. He took it in a gas station bathroom, hands shaking. 2 lines. Positive. He bought 3 more tests. All positive. That weekend, he drove home to see his parents. At the clinic, Dr. Patricia Owens did an ultrasound and delivered news that seemed medically improbable but was undeniably real. Kieran was 15 weeks pregnant. But I'm on testosterone, Kieran said, his voice hollow. I haven't had a period in almost 2 years. Dr. Owens spoke gently. Testosterone significantly reduces fertility, but it's not birth control. If you still have your reproductive organs and you're sexually active with a partner who produces sperm, pregnancy is still possible. Kieran's mind spun back to late July. There was a party. There was Levi. Levi Chun was a junior, popular
Oh, is he the father? Ooh.
athletic president of the business fraternity.
Yeah.
They'd matched on a dating app in May and had been secretly seeing each other all summer. Secret because Levi wasn't out to his fraternity brothers. Secret because being openly gay or openly dating a trans guy could affect Levi's standing in Greek life. That night in July, in Levi's apartment, they'd been intimate for the first time without protection. Kieran had honestly believed he couldn't get pregnant. The testosterone, the lack of periods, everything suggested his fertility was gone. Even though you weren't menstruating, your ovaries were still capable of releasing eggs occasionally, Dr. Owens explained. Testosterone suppresses the regular cycle, but breakthrough ovulation can still happen. When sperm met egg, conception occurred naturally. That night, Kieran met Levi in a parking lot. I'm pregnant, Kieran said bluntly. 15 weeks. It's yours. Levi's face went white. How is that even possible? My doctor explained it. I can still ovulate occasionally, even without periods. When we didn't use protection, your sperm fertilized my egg. It's basic biology. You need to take care of this, Levi said, panic in his voice. My fraternity can't know. My parents can't know. Levi, this isn't just about you. I'll give you money for whatever you need to do. But you can't tell anyone it was me. Kieran stared at him, feeling his heart crack. So that's it. I'm not ready to be a dad. I'm not ready to come out to everyone. I can't. Kieran got out of the car without another word. For a week, Kieran barely left his dorm room. Abortion was an option, but something inside him resisted. Adoption felt possible, But the idea of carrying a pregnancy for 9 months, and then on day 8, Kieran called his parents. "I want to keep it," he said. "I know it sounds crazy, but I want to try." His mom was crying. His dad sounded terrified but supportive. "Then we'll help however we can," his dad said. "You're not doing this alone." By 18 weeks, Kieran's baby bump was becoming noticeable. Oversized hoodies could only hide so much. Then came the day that changed everything. Kieran had a doctor's appointment that Tuesday morning. Dr. Owens handed him an updated medical file, clearly labeled obstetrics, pregnancy care, with ultrasound images inside. Kieran stuffed it into his backpack and headed back to campus. By lunchtime, he was starving. He grabbed food at the cafeteria and ate quickly. Suddenly, he noticed the time. Only 5 minutes until his design studio class. Kieran grabbed his backpack and rushed out. He didn't realize his medical folder had slipped out and was still lying on the table. A freshman named Jake found the folder while clearing tables. He opened it looking for an ID. Instead, he found ultrasound images and a patient sheet. Kieran Marsh. Gestational age, 18 weeks. Jake took photos with his phone. Within hours, the images were everywhere. Group chats, Instagram, Facebook. The news spread like wildfire across campus. Kieran was in design studio when his phone exploded with notifications. He opened Instagram and saw it. His medical records, his ultrasound, posted publicly. Marcus, a guy from Levi's fraternity, spoke loudly. "Yo, Kieran, congrats on the baby, man. Didn't know dudes could get pregnant." Laughter filled the room. Kieran's face burned. "That's personal," he muttered. By evening, someone had dug up Kieran's old social media from before his transition. Screenshots comparing his before and after photos spread through every campus group chat. Suddenly, Kieran wasn't just another student. He was the trans guy who got pregnant, a spectacle, a punchline. Students gawked at him everywhere. Someone spray-painted his dorm door. Fraternity guys made crude jokes in the dining hall. But the worst part? Levi pretended they'd never met. When Kieran tried to approach him, Levi's fraternity brothers surrounded them. "You got the wrong guy, man," Levi said coldly. "I don't know you." 2 days later, Kieran was called to the dean's office. Dean Morrison sat behind her desk, expression neutral. "Kieran, we need to discuss your situation and how it affects your standing at this university." "My pregnancy," Kieran said flatly. "We've received numerous complaints. There are concerns about appropriateness. We're prepared to offer you online courses. You could continue your education from home. So you're kicking me out. We're offering you an alternative. What about Title IX?" Kieran demanded. "Pregnant students have the right to stay in school. You can't discriminate against me because I'm pregnant. This is different. Because I'm trans? Because I'm a man who's pregnant? That doesn't change my rights." That night, Kieran's parents helped him contact a lawyer. What they learned was clear. Legally, universities receiving federal funding couldn't discriminate against pregnant students. Title IX was clear, but the university was betting Kieran wouldn't fight back. They were wrong. 3 weeks later, Kieran stood before the Westbrook State University Board of Trustees. The boardroom was packed. Trustees, administrators, students, reporters from the campus newspaper and local news stations. Kieran wore a button-down shirt that couldn't hide his 20-week baby bump. His hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. "My name is Kieran Marsh. I'm a sophomore graphic design major. I'm transgender, and I'm pregnant. None of those things should disqualify me from getting the education I'm paying for." "Mr. Marsh, the university has offered you online education," one trustee said. "You're isolating me because my existence makes people uncomfortable. You're punishing me for being visible." A parent in the audience stood up, face red. "Men can't get pregnant. This is just a confused girl." Kieran took a deep breath. "I'm not confused. I'm a transgender man. I was born with female reproductive organs, ovaries, a uterus, fallopian tubes. Testosterone therapy changed a lot about my body, but it didn't remove those organs. When I was intimate with someone who produces sperm, one of their sperm cells fertilized one of my egg cells. That's how pregnancy works, regardless of gender identity. But you're taking male hormones. How can you be pregnant?" "Because testosterone isn't birth control," Kieran explained, keeping his voice calm. "It reduces fertility, but it doesn't eliminate it. My body still occasionally releases eggs, even though I don't menstruate regularly. All it took was one egg meeting one sperm at the right time. The fertilized egg implanted in my uterus, and here we are. My gender identity doesn't change my biology. The room erupted in arguments. Some people were outraged. Others looked genuinely curious. A few students started chanting, "Let him stay." The board deliberated for over an hour. When they returned, the board president looked uncomfortable. After consulting with our legal counsel regarding Title IX and anti-discrimination laws, she announced, "We've determined that Mr. Marsh has the right to continue his enrollment at Westbrook State University, including access to on-campus housing and all regular educational facilities."
Wow.
Applause broke out. Kieran felt his knees go weak with relief. He'd won. The next few months tested Kieran in ways he never imagined. Some students were supportive. Others made his life hell. The university provided accommodations, but with obvious reluctance. Levi continued to pretend Kieran didn't exist. In
Really?
February, Kieran saw Levi with a girlfriend at a basketball game. It stung, but Kieran had
Wow.
bigger things to worry about. At 35 weeks pregnant, he submitted his final portfolio. His daughter, Riley, was born on May 3rd.
Oh.
She weighed 7 pounds, 2 ounces. Kieran's case became a landmark example in medical and legal circles. It highlighted a crucial reality. Transgender men who retain their reproductive organs can and do get pregnant, even while on testosterone therapy. The medical facts are clear. Testosterone therapy suppresses menstruation and significantly reduces fertility by preventing regular ovulation. However, breakthrough ovulation can still occur. When
Yeah.
sperm meets egg, fertilization happens through the same biological process. The fertilized egg travels through the fallopian tube, implants in the uterine wall, and develops into a pregnancy. After Kieran's case made headlines, medical schools began updating their curricula. Doctors started having more comprehensive conversations with transgender patients about contraception. Universities had to reckon with their policies regarding pregnant students who didn't fit traditional expectations. Kieran took a semester off after Riley was born, but he returned to Westbrook State that fall. He graduated 2 years later with honors. Today, Kieran is 23, working as a freelance designer and raising Riley with help from his parents. He's back on testosterone. As for Levi, he's never met Riley, never acknowledged his daughter's existence. Kieran stopped being angry about it. He's
Wow.
too busy building a life. Riley is now 3 years old. She calls Kieran daddy and knows she's loved fiercely. She'll grow up knowing her father fought for the right to give her life, to stay in school, to be himself. So here's my question for you. Should universities be able to remove pregnant students from campus? Does
No.
being transgender change your right to education? And how do we make space in our society for stories that don't fit neat categories? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story taught you something about courage, identity, biology, and fighting for what's right, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because Kieran didn't just fight for his degree. He fought for every trans student who
Yep.
comes after him, showing them that their rights matter, their identities are valid, their bodies are their own, and their stories deserve to be heard. Remember, being transgender doesn't mean you can't get pregnant, and being pregnant doesn't make you any less of a man. Kieran
Yep.
proved both of those truths, one difficult day at a time.
Yep. Wow. So the pundit student who fought the university for its rights by Decatur. Now link to the video with the discipline. We'll go and check them out in drop a like if you like. And comment below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new. And click the post so you can be notified when I upload and when the post and go live in what? Bye. Wow.